These stages won't be applicable for everybody, but for most B2B SaaS companies, there's some level of proof of concept, proof of value, or pilot phase in the product or service that you're offering, and we think it's important to have stages designated for this process alone. Just like the other stages, they may look a little different for your business, but feel free to use this as a template. The first stage is just designating whether a prospect is moving into this proof of concept phase or not. Often you'll have designated teams like sales engineers, or maybe engaging your customer success team to do this process. But it's important to know how many prospects are going into this proof of concept process, and is it paying off? After the prospect is in a POV, POC, or pilot process, you're going to want to outline a few operational steps that designate the type of process that you go through. I like to keep it between 2 and 3 stages. Any more starts to make it a little bit difficult to measure, and make it very clearly defined what it takes to move from one stage to the next. Is there a technical integration phase? Is there an API connection phase? Is there a data transfer phase? Whatever it means for you to go through an actual proof of concept, outline them operationally in these stages here. Finally, at the end, we like to have a stage that designates whether this proof of concept showed value or not. Something that's really important is this is independent of the closed won or closed loss stages that you had earlier. You want to know, if you're doing proof of concepts, are you able to show the value that you're expecting to show? And if you are, is that related to closed won business? A lot of times, moving to closed won or closed lost is not dependent on a successful POC. However, you want to see how much of a correlation and how many causal factors there are from successful POCs and moving to closed won. As an example, you may lose a deal because of pricing, even though they really enjoyed the product, they really like what you're able to do, but economically it just didn't make sense. But you want to know that this process is able to show value or not able to show value. We'll go through this entry criteria quickly because it's going to be very dependent on your process, and we covered it on the last slide. Essentially, just like with sales, marketing, customer success stages, it's very important to have clear entry criteria between one stage to the next. So you may have a more robust multi-factor qualification strategy here, or a simple action-based entry criteria. Regardless, it's important to document it and make sure that all the teams are following the same staging process appropriately. Finally, when you move something to able to show value or unable to show value, make sure you're documenting reasons for either of those cases.